There we go. How's everybody doing? I'm on a couple minutes early. Get everybody a chance to come into the room, say hello. I'm waiting for comments to resume on the tablet so I can see everybody here. I see that Marjorie Barnes is in the room. Kathleen Mefford is here. Catherine Mefford. Let me skip this whole TikTok thing. Let's hope. Oh, there we are. It's working. Hey, everybody. My name is Leslie Ohnstad. I am the creator of Color Art Products, the mad scientist behind making them. And I'm your host on ColorPlay Live 3 days a week, Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on Saturdays at 9 a.m. This week I did skip Tuesday, so it's quite possible we will have a Sunday broadcast. I realize that Sundays are sometimes inconvenient for people, but at least there'll be a broadcast up for a replay if that turns out to be more convenient for everybody. So, how's everybody doing? Hazel's here. Jennifer B is here. So, I want to talk real briefly why we do fluid art. Hey, Renee, how you doing, honey? Welcome to the group. Welcome to Friday's Play Day. Now, this is a regular stream. I'm not going to try to do the StreamYard thing and have it fail and have to close the room and move somewhere else. That was a little challenge over the weekend. And I can actually see you, Hazel. That's amazing. So, why do we do this? Okay, so fluid art. My personal story, I love to use watercolors. I painted way too tight. I was one of those people. Hi, Joan. How you doing, honey? Welcome from Missouri. I had this thing where if it wasn't perfect and it didn't look like the Wikipedia botanicals, that somehow I had screwed up, right? Hey, Sally, how you doing, honey? Michelle D is also in the room. Yay. No, I see you. Oh, is the volume low? Okay, so no, I don't think the microphone actually has a volume. Can you hear me better when it's up like this? I just moved the mic a little bit closer to my mouth. Is this helping? Or maybe you need to turn me up. Can everybody else hear me fine? You can hear fine. Okay. Hi, John. How you doing? Yeah, it could be on your end, but I want to make sure everybody's here. So my little personal story was in 2016, I had discovered this gorgeous little French Canadian artist, sweet thing, named Melly D, Mely big D. And she would use water and Liquitex pouring medium. That was pretty much what everybody used then to thin their paint down. She was kind of known for using her turkey baster to keep adding water to the white, because many of you may or may not know, when you're thinning down something with titanium white in it, fun fact tip, always check the white again at the very end if it's going to be something that is consistency driven or you need a certain consistency, because the white has a tendency to keep getting thick, even though it's impossible for titanium to absorb water. So I've never been able to explain to myself why titanium white seems to get thicker when the titanium mineral itself cannot absorb water. So I never really understood that. But Melly D was doing what she called a puddle pour. We may get one done today, but we're going to do one tomorrow. And it was a dry canvas. And you put the colors in puddle, like a white, a color, a black, a color, a white, a color, a black, a color, 3 puddles to make it uneven. The trick was, and this is how she activated her paint, not a cell activator. You run your finger through each puddle, right? Give the paint a few seconds to kind of do its thing, develop is the term we use, and then tilt it off. Now, at the time, everybody was like, we're wasting all this paint. By the way, this piece right up here behind me, that orange one has a little bit of turquoise in it. That's the very first puddle pour I ever did in 2016. And I used a trash can to pour off the excess paint. Uh, and that weekend, I was so enthralled. I saw her videos Friday night. I reset up the tables here in my living room. And then in the middle of it, I felt like I was covered with a bunch of paint. Went to strip down, take a shower, and do more. And by the way, I did 7 paintings that weekend of that style, right? Uh, but uh, while getting in the shower, I take off my Mickey Mouse sweatshirt and I'm looking in the mirror and going, why do I have a black boob? Apparently, I had leaned over. I mean, I had these all spread out on tables, leaned over. I'm not seeing anybody laugh yet, so you probably haven't heard me say the black boob part. Uh, and obviously got it down the front of me. Okay. I'm not seeing any comments. Can someone just say hi? Hey, hey, from Orlando. Okay, Eve's here. Good. We know the chat's working. So maybe everybody's just shocked that I said black boob. So I showered, of course. Then I cut some painter's plastic, put a hole in the top, like a yoke. I cut a yoke in it. So part of the plastic went down my back. All the rest of plastic was like a big, giant apron all the way down to my feet. And if you actually go into my old videos at the end of 2016, 17, there's one that's a similar style than that, that's kind of in the pinks. You'll notice in the video a little scan across my feet, and you'll see the plastic on the top of my feet because I figured I had to protect myself. I mean, I put rubber bands on my wrists. That was my first experience with fluid art. But what was interesting about her, the takeaway for me, and I've never forgotten this, is she said her words were, "I like to use cheap and expensive paint." But what my mind heard was she likes to use paint from different manufacturers because they all have different chemistry. Winsor Newton's base is not the same as Arteza. Arteza's base is not going to be the same as Amsterdam or Golden or Matisse or Hobeline, or name any acrylic paint market out there, any paint out there in the market, PBO, Plaid. They all have their own chemists making their own acrylic base. There's dozens of chemicals that do the same thing. So they have their own unique chemistry. So when I did my pieces, what I did is I said, well, my only thing I have to work with was actually the Vivid Enamel. We sold it at the time because it was a great base for our primary elements. It makes our paint look really pretty. So we've been selling that stuff since, I think, 2014. So I was like, well, how am I going to get the chemistry a little bit different? And when I put in varnish, now this is way before the whole bloom thing. So it was unique for me to put varnish in one color, right? And water in the other one. I had water-based polyurethane, whether they're different or not, I didn't know. I put a little bit in. Now, as the whole movement evolved, later on, I probably put silicone in one of the colors just to get some kind of chemical reaction. And she would sit and tilt this thing off, and her pieces are beautiful. So if you ever have a chance to go watch Melly D, yes, Melly has, Evelyn has a ranch. Oh, good. So you can hear me now, Michelle. Yeah. Made yourself, yes, Victoria, you are correct. Victoria said I made myself a paint poncho. Poncho, yes, a paint poncho. And I don't know if any of you guys have gone through that, but I was covered with paint. But can I tell you, the tight watercolor artist that everything had to be just perfect was set free. I was so in love with the idea that I could just put paint down, twirl it around, and make something kind of cool, right? I didn't think it was bad. It was kind of cool. I did get a little lifting in texture, but when I took it to the gallery, people were like, "Ooh, how'd you get that cool texture?" I said, I'm not going to tell you because the paint pouring people don't actually like having texture when it lifts and creates all this crackly texture. But that piece, I think I used Painter's Touch White by Rust-Oleum for my white. I wasn't even using the Artist Loft white at the time, which became the number one white and black for us. Um, and then eventually they changed that Artist Loft white to the So Soft stuff. And not to brag, but I'm going to. I actually remembered I have 6 bottles of this stuff. This is the stuff that they need to make that original pearl pour with that you can't buy anymore. The I guess the stuff in Michael's is called So Soft now. It's not called this. So maybe, we're going to learn along together. I've never done a pearl pour, but I can certainly look up the recipes and take a stab at it. We're not going to do it today, but this is something I would be doing the puddle pour with, and I kind of want to try one of these tomorrow if we run out of time. Okay, but yeah, that was, and it changed my path. Now, why do we do it? I asked you that question in the beginning. I've been talking to lots of different people who teach autistic kids, who work with abused children from 6 to 66, doctors that work with PTSD patients. Uh, Color is extremely therapeutic. They're finding that certain colors release dopamine, certain colors release serotonin, certain colors release endorphins. A friend of mine said, imagine, Leslie, you're on camera speaking to someone who's in a wheelchair who may not feel that artsy, but you're reaching them and they want to play with color. I've had people call me and say that they don't feel like they forget they're in pain. And I told Pamela Patton, and I hope she doesn't mind me putting her name out there. I said, yeah, it's kind of like CBD oil for the body is playing with color, because CBD oil doesn't really take the pain away, but it distracts you enough to make you say, okay, I'm sore, but I don't really hurt. And I had a lot of artists say, when I play with your watercolors, or when I do this or that, whatever it is they're doing, when I paint, doesn't matter what the product is, when I paint, when I work with color, I don't hurt as much. And so the question we have to ask ourselves, are we doing this because it makes us feel good? Is it therapeutic to work with the colors? Do you get excited mixing them? Is it a side hustle, right? Do you hope to get good enough to be able to make some side money at the fairs? But it's okay if you do it for your personal therapy, okay? It's okay to just make something really cool, watch all those colors move around. I mean, think about it. People are hooked on gambling, and what? They're waiting 3 seconds for the slot machine to tell them if they won, and the whole time your body's pumping out chemicals that makes you feel good. Well, imagine how the body reacts to 15, 20 minutes of color moving around. Okay. It's also therapy. Yeah, I want to make cool stuff, and I'm happy to share everything I know about color mixing with you guys. I'm going to discover some techniques along with you. I've seen them all, and most of them, there's still new ones coming out every week. Matter of fact, what's her name? Amber, somebody just this week posted this beautiful dry Dutch pour, and she dry, meaning the canvas didn't have a flood coat, and she had taken spray paint and kind of created this modeled a violet white background, right? Then she put over a round object and spray painted black behind it. So when she pulled it off, it looked like a gradient moon that was lilac to white. And then she did a Dutch pour on the top of that, but didn't flood coat the canvas. Just got her paint just to the right consistency that you can blow around to see if anybody happened to see. Uh, it makes me smile. I have I have a win. Yes, love to see the stuff mixed up. It's supposed to make you feel good. if you happen to have, something successful that you're proud of to put on your wall or give away, or practice makes perfect, eventually sell. Hey, I'd love to sell some artwork myself, but I'm still trying to find where my personal jam is. I'm really leaning towards resin right now. I'm falling in love with it only because I'm forcing myself to face my fears of working with the epoxy. Today we're going to play with some acrylic. So what I have on my table right now is just some samples of a few of the neons that'll be coming and some of the other colors from set 3. Right now, many of you are just getting your set 3s. They're been shipped, they're on their way, or they were right at your doorstep. I've had a few people say, hey, I just got mine. So I think there's about a half a dozen more leaving on Monday, and we're pretty much caught up on all of those. Mine arrived yesterday. Hey, Michelle D got hers. John N got his. That's great. Everybody got their sets. Okay, so let's have a little play. Oh, darn, Catherine. Well, let's hope it shows up today. Evelyn Moiner got hers yesterday. Marjorie Barnes got hers Wednesday. Mine's going to be here tomorrow, says Audra. Mine arrived yesterday, says Jennifer B. Yes, everybody's getting their sets. Okay, so here's the deal with the neons. As soon as this set 3 was up, everybody, I'm sorry, it was like little kids at Christmas. Mommy, what are we going to get for Christmas? It's like, when are the neons going to be up? Well, I already have them written down. I know I have about 16 colors in my head, easy. So here's the option. Option A, it's kind of up to you guys because you're kind of my crew. I can put a small shot up there, put a pre-event, put a shot of 3 neon colors and say pre-event, 16 colors. But even the pre-event's not going to be that long. This last pre-event was 3 weeks. Since they're already written down, it's just basically me verifying them, the rest of them, because I have a few here already, naming them. That's the tricky part. Is this chameleon green, like the color of a chameleon, or is this rub-a-dub orange? I trying to find fun candy colors, you know, candy names, Papa Dots, Red Hots. But I make the recipes. I kind of test them in front of you guys. Then I do the final recipes, goes to the lab while they're making them. Hopefully, I've already got them named, or they're being named as they're mixing them. I get them up on the website, and then you can buy them. So there's a little bit of a trick. So those of you who asked why the neons aren't up right away, there's a little bit of a process. But I think after playing with these today, maybe tomorrow morning, I'll put up the pre-event. Like I said, it won't be for very long. So if you're going to take advantage over the pre-event gifts, do it while you can, because we're not going to have to wait 3 weeks for it. We've already got the colors, we've got the jars, we've got everything we need. They're just waiting on me to get them the recipes and the names. So without further ado, let's have a little fun. I don't know if I can make a cell activator out of a neon. I want to experiment with that. I'm going to mix some colors up, and I've got an 11 by 14 board here we're going to do some swatch tests on. And then I'm going to do swatch cell activator tests. Then I'm going to do a swirl swipe. I don't think we're going to have time to do the puddle pour because I got a lot of colors to mix up here in front of you guys. But once we've made these through these neons, it's not going to be a problem to pick a few of these that will be part of the puddle pour tomorrow, because I started thinking about how much fun I had. It was messy, that one that's right there. I will have to have some kind of tub to pour the paint off, but you start with a dry canvas. You don't actually start with a wet canvas, so you don't know right away that what you put down first is going to be wasted, right? It's the excess that tumbles over itself that makes that excess. So let's have a gander at these little guys. I have, okay, now they're not named, but there is a fluorescent red. Now, why do I like fluorescence? I feel like I need to be on camera for you guys to hear me see this again just for 1 second. Okay, why do I like fluorescence? I was going to say this before I turn the camera over. It's not because it glow in the dark, even though some people might find that a fun side thing, right? That they paint a piece and cells pop up and neon green cells pop up, they might glow in the dark. I use a little warning. What did I do, John? You need sunglasses. Oh, it was so bright. I use them to brighten things. Okay. There's a color we made in the Prussian Pearl called Gone Bananas. Everybody's like, why is that such a pretty bright yellow? What's so different about it? Why is it so different? Well, it's a Hansa yellow. I don't even have the fluorescent yellow here on the table. I only have the yellow green. I put a little fluorescent yellow in it. You can add the fluorescence to the other purely pigment colors to brighten them. You're just like, wow, that's just a little bit more vivid than I remember. So it's not necessarily mixing the whole thing with just neon, okay? You have options. It could be 75% neon and just a couple drops of phthalo blue green shade, which I'm going to play with today, the phthalo blue green shade, and see if I can't try to make a neon turquoise with this. Don't know if it's possible. Oops, sorry, just push my camera around. But you can do it the other way, 75% of a neon color or majority and a couple drops of an archival color. And they seem to help each other out. The archival color seems to stabilize the color, not that it's unstable, but it just adds a little more richness to it. And the neon brightens it. So I actually like mixing them together. I think it's something that I really would like to see more people do. There's not enough people out there doing it. So maybe it's just my little thing. And since I talked about that, I am going to try that green and that phthalo blue green shade. Now, when I say phthalo blue green shade versus red shade, we are very fortunate as artists that there are still actually active phthalo mines in the Middle East. Okay. And being able to tint, whether these are done in lab or they're natural out of the earth, a green tone to the blue makes it so much easier for you to make your turquoises, right? You're right there with a phthalo blue green shade, just a drop of green, and you're starting to get into the most beautiful turquoises in the world. And then the phthalo blue red shade, technically, you could make your violet, but they have other purposes for deepening or darkening or even dirtying up a color. But I know I'm talking a little bit too much, but sorry about that, guys. I have this tendency to get lost in the information thing. I collect weird facts about art and color, and it just kind of comes up in my demonstration. No, none of this is written down. I don't have a script. So let's play a little bit. Let's get some cups out here before I lose you guys. We got 26 of you on here. Yes, Evelyn gave John a pair of sunglasses. Thank you, darling. That information is good. It's important. It's important. Now I'll flip the camera and we can kind of take a look at what we're going to play with today. Now, this is the red. This is a straight fluorescent red. This is the custom blend that I made, the yellow green. This is a magenta. This is like the fluorescent red violet. There's a fluorescent orange. There is such a thing as fluorescent green. This reminds me of that green that Artist Loft used to have. I use that color all the time in my swipes. I decided to just go directly and put it right in a purely pigment bottle this morning for you guys. And then this is actually, there's a fluorescent blue. I know they look a little bit similar, but this one's fluorescent blue. I had to make sure I got it marked. And this is the actual phthalo blue green shade that I believe is in set number 1. I think this is in set 1. Okay, so we're going to work with acrylic. So I'm going to start with varnish. I always do that so you can see the maximum brilliance of the colors. But I got to be careful that I measure it. I have a tendency to go overboard with varnish. You guys have heard me say that a million times. I just like what it looks like in the cup, and it makes the mica and the color sparkle so pretty, right? So that is actually a full teaspoon, a little bit too much, but let's see where we're going with this. It may make because I've got polypore here on the table. I couldn't find my bottle of enamel, so I have polypore here. Probably don't need that much varnish because the polypore already has some varnish in it. Now, if I was going to try to do a neon turquoise, okay. By the way, this is the first time trying this right on camera in front of you guys. I thought you guys might find this fun. I would remember that that's the fluorescent blue back there. And get the rest of these up here so we're not distracted. I mean, I just think it can be done, but how much to how much is going to be the question. So I'm going to start with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drops of the actual fluorescent pure green. Now, I mean, my instinct would be to do this. I could go right to using a cyan and it's all over. But if I needed to build it, if I didn't want to use this, right? If I needed to build it from scratch, I could there is an option to do fluorescent blue, fluorescent green, and that would make a different turquoise color. And we'll do that. But I want to investigate. I like actually mixing archival and fluorescence together. I just want to put one full drop. Come on, buddy, get down there. Of the phthalo blue green shade. Now, interference green or blue is going to lend itself to accent that. If I leave that on there, it's going to make a mess. I don't want to open and close this thing wrong and get this thing all goopy. So if I was used a little bit of both, it would make a turquoise. So I'm going to be careful on measuring this stuff this time so we know what we're doing. And I have a small amount. So that's a 1/16 of a teaspoon. If it's heaping, that's okay. It's still a 1/16 of a teaspoon of the eye green. And then I'm going to use some sparkle blue because we know blue and green makes teal. So I'm making sure that the mica is going to kind of complement what I'm trying to do here. You've seen it first, Leslie's experiment on camera. Let's see what colors are going to make for us. Oh my God. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Are you seeing this? That's like a Guatemalan green. Okay, holy moly. I need to write this down. There's going to be a color in the line. I'm actually going to make this color for you guys. Look at that. See if anybody, I love this color. But what set is on special pre-order? Set 3 still has a few bucks off. I didn't take it back to regular price, Joan. This is making a beautiful, now this would be considered a green blue. This is a turquoise green, right? Now, what if we want to take it one more drop blue? One single drop. Now you'll be able to do this yourself because you're going to get the neon green and you already have the phthalo blue green shade if you have that set. But I promise you guys, I'm going to mix this for you. Look at that. Now it's dead set in the middle turquoise. It's not really a green blue and it's not really a blue green. This is like dead set in the middle. Oh, that's pretty. And if I wanted to push it a little bit more over the edge, right, it would go more blue-green. Right now, it's like the perfect turquoise. Yeah, That first one reminded me a little bit of Guatemalan green because Guatemalan green has a green teal to it. This kind of reminds me a little bit of teal zircon. We're talking primary elements if nobody knows what we're talking about, the primary element colors. Wow. Oh, that turned out so pretty. And to know that that is basically 90% neon green with just a little bit of the phthalo blue green shade. Wowzer. It's going to make a pretty color. Now I'm worried about how juicy this is. This is going to swap. I did not make a batch with the gel medium and the vivid enamel. I don't think I have any mixed up. So we're going to know for a fact that, I wonder, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me get some gel medium real quick. I know I have a bucket of it right here. I love the fact that I can turn around and grab something and you guys can hear me because I have a microphone on my clothes. Yes, this is the Nova Super Gel. I am going to literally, you can tell my bucket is messy. So I'm going to actually whip up so you guys can see me make what I call a transparent paint base. I don't have the big cup, I don't have the big can, but I can make something in the meantime because this paint's coming out too thin. I'm just looking for a big heaping. I have a tablespoon here so you can see me measure, but I can't find it. So, plan B. Sure, I'll find it after the broadcast, right? Plan B. So I got one of these paint paddles. A lot of this have these. Oh, wrong cup. I'm going to actually just mix one paddle of the heavy gel medium. Get this off my tub, off my table. The reason why is, and if you guys ever saw the very first video I did on the lives, heavy gel medium kind of knits everything together. When you're buying a tube paint, this already has a paint base inner with a thickener in it. When you're just using basically an acrylic medium like this, it doesn't mean it's got the viscosity, the same thickness as this. So add that viscosity in there. Heavy gel medium's kind of my answer. I'm usually 1 part to 4 parts. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour my polypore in here, which I think is way too thin, and get this mixed up before we go further. I don't want our swipes to fall. I want them to work. And straight polypore out of the bottle, at least my batch right here is a little bit thin. So adding some of that heavy gel medium in there plumps up your paint base a little bit, adds a little bit more viscosity to it. Oh, that's a nice, much nicer texture. Might need a little bit more. I'm hoping I can get away with adding a little more of the polypore to this and not get away from this perfect consistency I seem to have made. Because I like what I'm getting. You know what I mean, you guys. When you start stirring your stuff, if it turns out a little too watery, this is way too juicy. This would be Dutch pour. You know when it's too thin. And if you're brand new, you'll learn. I want it so I see a trace on the top. I don't want it to go straight flat to the sides and disappear. I want a little bit on the top. And then I'll be careful not to use so much varnish. I did use a whole teaspoon of varnish in that cup, right? So way to fix the one that I actually have open. The one that I just mixed. all in if I was sitting on my table at home, and I am, may I say. I'm just going to add some gel medium to this. I realize it's going to be like trying to make gravy and thinning down something, mixing in something thicker and something thinner. But it's a way to plump up this paint and get a little bit more viscous. So if you get something too thin, you always have the option. See how now it's going to leave a trace on there before it goes in? Just plumping it up just a little bit. 5-gallon drum. That's a 1-gallon drum. But you're right. I do have it right here at my feet. I have way too much around me. See, now that's a great consistency. Probably still a little bit too thin for the whole swipe thing, but it'll work, right? And I love that color. So I love the fact, and I have some little paint bait mixed. We're going to get our top back on, our medium. And let's rock and roll and make another color, because I want to get to playing with these a little bit. I know I'm in love with the red violet. I should probably be mixing a little bit more for you. Now, I wished I had the actual yellow up here, but I am going to take this and try to take it down one shade darker. I know most of you are going to say, I love that color. But we want you guys to have options, right? The whole idea is options, options, options. So let's, I think I'm going to use less varnish. The whole point of the varnish is just so you can get a idea of the color clear before we make it milky. So I'll use half that varnish. And oh no. I think I'm still going to do this. I like the idea of this color, but there is a mid-range between this and this. That's really gorgeous. Doesn't hurt to know how to make it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, bubble. Give me 5. Yeah, these aren't completely full, and the whole tilt to the right side, if they're not completely full, this one's full. That's why it was so easy. Now, I only want one single drop, and it may change it too much, but let's see what happens. Okay. So in that other one, I used all the green and want 2 drops of the blue. And this one, I'm using all of this lizard yellow or whatever. We need to come up with a name for this. We need to come up with it. Actually, John, this is way different than the chartreuse. It may on camera, but it is blinding in person. I agree. It's almost there. But look at what just happened. Look at that color. Wowzer. So if we're keeping track, what was this? 4 or 5 drops of that yellow green and 1 drop of the green green. This is a completely different green than this bright yellow green. This is pretty. Personally, this reminds me more of kiwi, John. A little bit brighter than kiwi, but it's kind of the kiwi family. I like this color a lot. We'll see what it looks like with a little eye green in it. Just options. I want to give you options, options, options. So when you think about it, think about mixing them together. Don't think about just doing a neon all on its own. I feel like it's just a giant waste for you. Here, let's do, I have about my 32nd of a teaspoon. I'll put a little heap of that in there. And because I'm going to stay in the green genre, I'm going to add a little green diamond to this. Oh, it looks like some of our mica flew on top of the bottle. So how much actually got into my cup? I think I flipped it up. Did everybody see me flip it up out of the cup? It looks like it flew on my bottle. Okay, we'll put a little more in. Get it in the cup list. Don't get too excited here. I love that kiwi color. Yes. See, Fiesta green. Remind me of the 80s. Well, Audra, I graduated in 1971, and it was during the Twiggy period, and I was a junior in high school, and mom thought it was great to send me to school and a skirt this color with shocking pink fishnet stockings, because that was the trend then. Green lightning. That would be a great name for green lightning. And I don't think that's trademarked, even though this is not a Hulk. The Hulk green is not a bad green. Lizard green's not a bad green. Let's put a little bit of paint mix in this so we can swipe with this little baby. Get some colors in here mixed up. See what it looks like with a little acrylic in it. Now you may say, oh, it's a little bit light now that I've added the acrylic. I wanted a touch darker. Okay, let's do that. Let's make it just a little bit more vibrant. So get some color in that thingy. Let's go 1, 2, 3. And just one more of these. Just one more. And I'll try to not get it on the stick. I'm going to try to get it actually in the pot for you. All it's going to do is just make it a shade brighter. See that? It brought that brightness. Now it looks like the kiwi before we added the acrylic, right? Man, I love these two colors together. Those will be really pretty together and something that we're going to do today. Yes. So now I am mixing these with enough of the varnish and the acrylic, so they should swipe with the cell activator. That's kind of the point of why I'm doing this. All right, so let's try. I'm wondering if I mix an orange and a pink. This is magenta. See, magenta fluorescent, my little handwriting in the bottom of this one says orange fluorescent. So we know these are Leslie's little playthings. In theory, a yellow and a pink makes a coral. So do neons include extension power cords? Okay. Victoria, you leaving us, honey? Good to see you, sweetheart. Come back and watch the rest of us if you have a chance. Sorry you have a doctor's appointment. It was so nice to see you, honey. Glad you could join us. You have a beautiful day and a safe drive to your doctor's appointment, okay? All right, let's add a little bit varnish to this one. Now, again, yellow and pink mix coral. But I'm going to try to warm up this magenta. I'll put a lot of this fluorescent magenta in it with 1 drop of the orange fluorescent. Or, you know what I could do? I got a little color inside of my varnish thing here. I don't want it to mess it up. Oh, it's dried. Sorry, I saw that color in there. Didn't want to mess with what we're doing. I'm only kind of pouring this in half just so it's got a little bit in there to break that color down for us. I could put actually the mellow yellow in this. We know for a fact this ringer is going to make us a peach color. But I do want to also play with these two together and these two together. I mean, after all, we can mix and match everything, right? But we're going to start with the pink base. That's going to be the main thing in this. Let's put this phthalo blue red green shade back in its box so it's out of the way. One, two, three, four, five. I'm averaging 5. Now remember, the color is super, super clean. So it's going to look translucent. until you add more, and then it gets more and more and more opaque as you add color to it. This yellow is really strong, so I really hesitate to even put a whole drop in, but let's see what happens. I think we're going to get a really bright orange coral right away. This is what it looks like in the cup. Yeah, see? Ooh, ooh. Oh, but that's pretty. Ooh, 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 ooh. I see possibilities on that. Let me put some sparkle red in that. Can I find my sparkle red? I'm looking for it on the table here. Eye gold, eye green, sparkle gold, sparkle green, sparkle blue. Please, guys, where's the red? Oh, yeah, this stuff is insane. The sparkle red's gorgeous, and when it's put in a color like this, it's going to be beautiful. So let's add a little bit of the sparkle red to this little guy. Now, I may still have to pink it up a bit, but I really like, oh, look at that color it made. Wow. So that's 5 drops of the fluorescent magenta, 1 drop of the mellow yellow. Now, we gave them fun names because we can't use the name Hansa Yellow again. It's already been used in the Vivid Intense line. So if you're sitting there thinking, why doesn't she just call it Hansa Yellow? Look how pretty that is with that red. Wow, look at that gorgeous coral we just made. The fluorescent red, it brought it right back to where it's a pretty pink. And if you look, you can see the reflection of that sparkle red in there. That is a really pretty color. I'm kind of digging where we're going. Yes, everything's very springy. Neons are going to tend to have a tendency to take everything to spring just by the very nature that they're bright and vibrant, right? I like that color. Now to go along with it, I really wanted to do this Peribelle, the cyans, not necessary because we made the perfect turquoise all on our own out of the neons. Remember, this is neon green with 2 drops of phthalo blue green shade. Insane that it made that color. And it's going to be really brighter than a normal just turquoise paint because it's got that neon in it. It'll be really, really vibrant. All right, so next, I know I want to do this Peribelle just as an accent. It's a periwinkle blue. I think it'll be interesting with some of these colors. Before I do that, though, okay, we played with a fluorescent green. We didn't really play with a fluorescent blue. That's the Peribelle. Huh, what could I do? Well, you know what we could do? This would be interesting. Okay. My mind is just, this is on the fly. And you're like, oh, she had it all planned in advance. No, most of this is very intuitive. I'm looking at it and thinking, wow, what can I do to make something super special and different that no one has seen before? So I think I want to go with the fluorescent red violet, and we're going to deepen it with a little bit of the fluorescent blue. They're different enough to where I'm going to feel okay using fluorescent on fluorescent. So here is this is such a pretty color. I could take a bath in that color. It's probably my favorite color. 3, 4, 5, just this red violet tone, that bright rhodamine, red violet, it just makes my heart happy. Now, 1 drop of a blue should tone this. It's not going to go periwinkle, but it is going to go a little bit more of a violet blue. Now, this is a red shade. This is not just a true straight up purple. So it could, what I call, dirty it up slightly, right? Because, great, I'm knocking everything over. as we're playing. But let's see what this does. What color are we going to get? Ooh, oh my God. Oh my goodness. Okay, I am making this color. Can I just say, I am going to make this color in the line because I think you guys are going to love it. Are you seeing this? That's a crazy color. If you ever want to make it yourself, it's 5 of the fluorescent red violet. It'll be in the set, and the fluorescent blue, right? Look at that, insane. This is insane. That is an insane color. See, these neons are going to be amazing. Okay, so I've talked myself into it. This afternoon, I'm just going to put a shot of 3 bottles up, but it will list 16 color set. I'm not going to put the names in there because they're not named yet. And boy, the leaping lizard or anything you guys have mentioned will do it. There will be a free gift with this, but I ain't going 3 weeks on the pre-event. So you're not going to have 3 weeks to get the free goodies. You're going to have to do it in the next week and a half before they ship, because we have everything we need to make this. There's not going to be anything delaying them making it. And so they're going to be produced a heck of a lot faster, but this is one stunning color. Now, part of me wants to put blue in this. Of course, the natural thing would be to just go ahead and go play it straight and put purple, okay? But I'm actually going to put a little eye violet. I don't want to dominate it too much, with a little sparkle blue. Let's kind of mix and match it, shall we? Okay, I hope somebody's taking notes on what I'm doing. Yes, says Evelyn Warner. I think this is going to be a great combination. As much as you guys have seen me mix, I think you know where I'm going with this, with the violet and the blue sparkle. Now, one thing about the interference is they can really, really dominate, and we're not making a lot. So I'm just putting in about a half to a third of what I would normally mix in there, because I don't want it to overpower the color. Wow, I want the color to speak. Okay, so here it is with just the interference violet. Let that drip down that spoon real nice. See that? Okay. But watch what happens when we add some sparkle blue. Wowzer. Okay, and I'll put about the same amount in there. I'm not going to go hog wild, right? Same amount. You can already see it in there. Look at what happens. Look at that sparkle blue. Holy moly. Yeah, I get excited about this stuff. This stuff makes me very excited. I can't wait to put these things up. All right, let's put a little bit of, that's a great mane, Michelle. What did Michelle say? I missed Michelle's comment. And now it's already off the feed. Somebody's doing a happy dance. Someone says I'm dancing. John says he's dancing. Oh, a great name. Luminous Lime. Ooh, luminescent lime. It's a mouthful, but I love it. And I don't mind saying luminescent lime 5 times fast for you guys. I don't mind saying luminescent lime. Now, again, is this bright enough? Now that I've got my acrylic in there, I feel like it's softened, right? So if I wanted to brighten it up like I did the other one, I added 3 more drops of the fluorescent red violet. And I have this mark that says fluorescent here, so I know what that is. And I know 1 more drop is going to be a bit. 1 drop of that fluorescent blue. And it's only because the acrylic softens out that color, right? And I want it really, really bright, in my face, gorgeous. Okay, I am digging this purple. I hope they all fit on the make sense on the canvas together, because now I'm just kind of going crazy having fun mixing colors, which is kind of what I do for a living, but there's there's always that. Okay. So then what happens? I'm going to go all in again. What if I mix, let's say, mellow yellow with, Sherry's going to like this, fluorescent orange. Sherry Ellis loves orange. I think she's at the doggy training today with Ziggy. So hello to Ziggy when you guys get back. But Sherry loves orange. A lot of people love orange. Where will they be? They're going to be up on the Purely Pigments page once they're up, and it'll say neon pre-event 16-piece collection. That's all I'm going to put up there right now, because we don't even have these things named. There's no names yet. You're seeing it first because you're part of ColorPlay Live. I also put them on the I'll put them on the ColorPlay Live page. There's actually a page dedicated to ColorPlay Live. The top half has the membership cards. Eventually, that's going to split. The membership will have its own page. And so underneath all those membership cards, we actually have some Primary Element sets on special, some Primary Element pigment single jars that we have on special that we kind of have a lot of. Sylvia put up for you guys at 5% off, an extra 5 to 7% off. So you'll be able to go in there and purchase them with your stuff. Pumpkin orange. Well, now, yeah, I kind of want to see if we can do a yellow orange, but then what if we just want to do something like an Aztec yellow, where it's mostly yellow and a drop of this, or it's equal parts, right? Because they're both very different. Okay, so let's start with the mellow yellow, which is basically your pure Hansa yellow. Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it gave me 6 on that one, 6 drops. And then I'm only going to do 1 drop of this. I'm looking for something not quite California poppy. I want more of a Tuscan sun. I want like a just Aztec yellow orange. Okay. Now, interference red or sparkle red would kind of be my choice with this. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, good Lord. Okay, there's more than 16. Look at that. Guys, and you're actually watching me experiment in front of you. Because in my mind, I've been seeing how to take archival colors and brighten them up with fluorescence. But I've never actually done this test, especially on camera in front of people cold. Look at that color. That's a gorgeous color. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's put some of the sparkle red in there, because the red is really going to lend itself to that. You know, another thing that lends itself to that, believe it or not, is violet. So I'm going to have a little fun. First, let's put in some sparkle red. Again, I'm putting in about 1/3 of what I normally put in stuff, right? I don't want to overload it. I'll tell you what, now you know why I show it to you in varnish, because it's just so stinking gorgeous. It sparkles, it shimmers. Let me see if we can get this camera a little bit more in the light, and I'm under the light here for you. You can really see this mix and see that sparkle red in there as I turn that thing. Wow. Okay, let's put a little bit of acrylic in this. I didn't make up that much, but I got enough to at least make some colors up. Wow. Now that is still pretty bright. I don't feel the need at all to add more, but if you wanted to, now remember, that is your mellow yellow and 1 drop of fluorescent orange and a big giant wow. Now to make it more interesting, I'm going to go ahead. You've already seen it with just the red sparkle. What happens when I add a little interference violet to it? all my little jars here with their tops off. You can already see it in the cup. See what happens when it's changing the surface already. The violet will change that. And then you get a red, a violet cast with your color. Wow. I'm doing a happy dance. John and I are both doing happy dances. I'm really loving these experiments. I mean, my mind just gone, okay, what do I show them next? What do I show them next? What do I show them next? I think, okay, now a more obvious one would be you could put your magenta and your red violet together. Okay. We could mix this 50-50 with the yellow. I think people might actually like that, even though we know we're going to get more of a kind of an orange pill color. What if I wanted to mix the green shade blue? I don't want to make another turquoise. I think of what I got out here. So I've made a color called sky blue, right? I'm wondering what happens if I add fluorescent to it, but I don't think it's going to change it that much. You know, I think for now we've mixed a lot. I'm afraid I'm going to run out of cups and run out of time. What kind of time are we on right now? We're already, oh, no wonder she had to go to the dental appointment. We're already at 61 minutes. Okay, I'm going to do a little swipe with this. I want to see what these look like swiped. I did want to experiment with making cell activators out of these. I can do that. I didn't make a lot of paint except that turquoise. I have a lot, so I can experiment with that a little bit. Let me get all of our micas put back. I don't want to dump all this stuff over. I know I say that every video. It's just my thing. When I work on my lab table, it's the same way. Everything gets back put in place when I'm done because I'm messy as I'm going. You know, my whole intuitive thing is flowing and I'll just start pulling stuff apart. And now, is there any color combination, magenta and purple? Okay, so you would like to see the magenta mixed up? Okay. What was that ice cream truck thing? Creamsicle, orange sherbet, vanilla ice cream. Okay, we could do one more. John has asked for the purple and the magenta. It really is just going to make this more red, or it will make this just a little bit more pink. When we did the peach, when we did the peach, it was 5 drops of this and a drop of this. I'll tell you what, equal parts of this would be interesting. Another thing to think about when you're thinking of your archival colors, I'm looking for for example, your color pure magenta. This is quinacridine magenta. Okay, so we could do a color, that would be fun, that is this with a drop of this to intensify it, right? You could mix it with this. You could actually try mixing it with the orange. The combinations, of course, are endless. That's why there's a computer that makes 2.1 million colors out of 3 in the world. It's pretty interesting how that works. I think, I mean, I can deepen this, but it's really simply going to be a darker shade of this, which is fine. Maybe we can do that in the next video. I kind of want to, like I said, get to where I'm getting something down, and I got a lot of jars in my way. So let me get these off the table. I guess we're not going to use the Perry Bell. It's a pretty color, but we've got 5 colors mixed up so far, and if we need more, we can. I was going to use this as a gold, You know, I could use this in a fluorescent and make a gold. That might be interesting. This is the fluorescent red, and maybe because if I put golden maple in this, it's going to look so different. You won't even realize I had the fluorescent in it, other than it's going to make it brighter. That's the kind of whole point of this. So let's do one more. I got a little paint here I still need to use up or put back in a cup somewhere or cover it somehow. Get a little varnish, half of it. Okay. And in this, I'm going to use mostly a bit of honey. I don't know if I want to use equal parts. We'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 6. Bit of honey. And I'm going to put 1 drop of the fluorescent red. I didn't mark the bottom of this, but this is considered fluorescent red. It's not used as much as you think. Most manufacturers tend to go to the magenta, the neon pink. Yeah, I don't have the pink up here. I need to pour that off too for the next time. Pink and magenta are different. So mixing that together. Ooh, that's pretty. That's kind of a darker curry color. But I'm going to put in my golden maple. That's the larger particulate, right? And I'm going to put in the Emperor's Gold, which is the super fine particulate. So at least I have a gold made. And let's see what happens now. Interesting fun fact, okay, just so you guys know this. I don't know if I've ever covered this. Interference mica is transparent. That's why you can see the color of your skin. When you rub it on your skin, you see your color underneath under the interference. And so the light passes through the flake, goes to the base, bounces back to your eye. Copper, gold, bronze sits on the surface like a big old mirror. No light can pass through it. So when you're mixing like a gold in a color, it's going to look different than if you had put those 2 colors and you put them in interference gold. But I am digging this color. That is beautiful. So we use the fluorescent red and the bit of honey. Okay. And let's see what this mixes up at, because that is a stunning color. That's prettier than what we were getting in our resin when we were doing that. I'm going to have to use some of the fluorescent red next time I mix up that gold for my resin, because this looks just a little bit richer. And I really like a red gold, personally. It's just my taste. I like warmer golds versus yellow golds. I don't even know if I have enough paint mixed up here. I got enough to probably do 1 swirl swipe. And then a couple tests with this color, because we got a little bit more of that made up. But is that gold enough? I think so. My gut's to add a little more, because I want it really intense. So let's add another drop of that fluorescent red and another little pinch of the golden maple. I know. I just want to see what it looks like till it's my fantasy. And I think that orange, that fluorescent red, boy, look at how warm that gold is now. Woo! Pretty color. Okay, just to test the swipe possibilities, we're not going to do this whole canvas. I had this set out here so I could do some little test swipes. But I kind of also want to do a little swirl swipe before we're done. So I've got something on here. There's a reason why I do have my turntable here. Okay, so my plan was, see how this works, and dry canvas. Put a little bit of color down here. And ones I feel like I got enough of. I think I've got enough purple. Now this has a nice consistency to it. That this color here, this turquoise, still feels a little bit thin compared to this gold. That is a beautiful gold. Fluorescent red, bit of honey. I'm kind of digging that combination. Let's see what happens with our custom purple that we made. Well, this is fluorescent red violet mixed with the fluorescent blue. Okay, I got some white cell activator here, and I think this is black cell activator. I hope it is. It's been in a cup for a while. It feels like it. By the way, I save all my extra paints and put leftover gloves over the top of it, and this thing's been on my table for weeks, and it is still very, very, very liquidy and ready to use. So let's pray this is a cell activator. I don't really know. I won't really know till we actually try a little swipe. So let's get some of the black on the back of this. Of course, we know neon looks great under black. Okay, I probably have too much in here. Oh, well, there you go. Hey, I'm liking the color that got left on that. Okay, yeah, we're going to get cellage. Look at that. No problem getting cells, and that's definitely black cell activator. Let me wipe the excess off and get a little tiny bit more black on this. Hey, Connie, how you doing, sweetheart? Which one is the red? That red was the fluorescent red. It's going to be a new purely pigment. Take a look, Connie. We just swiped 3 colors. That is a neon turquoise, which will be, I'm going to make that turquoise and purple as part of the set. I'm not going to force you guys to do it, but at least you know how I did it. You should at least know how I did it. I am liking those colors swiping. Nice. Okay. See if I can't somehow block this. I got a little more color here I can play with before we have to do the swirl swipe. As long as I have enough color mixed up, I'll keep going, guys. I don't mind. You know, what I thought I'd do is swipe this direction, then swipe this direction, then swipe this direction. And just kind of, I mean, if you guys don't mind. Oh, and of course, I just got black all over my elbow. So instead of my boob, it's on my elbow today. Yes. Yes, purely pigments, it will be a fluorescent red. Now, what's interesting is I really want to go down the road to experiment more with the red. What if I added this to Hugs and Kisses, right? Awesome. Right. You can also, it's awesome. You can watch us work. Okay. So we had, I'm going to push this white over here. I'm going to like this black cell activator right now. So I'm not going to get away from it. Okay. So if I was going to swipe this direction, I put some colors down and swipe that way. So since we have so much turquoise, I am going to use the turquoise in most of these. But let's do a little bit of our custom neon. What did we call this? Not really kiwi. That green is so pretty. Gosh, guys. Okay, I want to do equal to where it's only swipe, 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 right? So I'm trying to just 3 little things, not a ton of paint like you guys normally see me use, right? Normally I'm like way overdoing the paint. Hey, Renee, welcome back. Did you have to leave, honey? So here is our neon, custom neon turquoise that we made. Yes. This is definitely going to be one of my faves. I'm in love with that color. Wow. Okay. And it all starts with neon green with just a drop of blue to get there. So you know that it's like 90% neon green, right? Okay, let's play with a little bit. We made this peachy color. I forget what this is made out of now because we did why. I think this was the mellow yellow mixed with the fluorescent magenta. I'm going to have to watch the replay now. Hope somebody's keeping track of what I'm doing here. But I'm kind of enjoying this whole testy swipe thing. Hey, Victoria, how was the appointment, honey? Uh-oh. The YouTube channel just kind of went kaput. Give me a second. Here we go. Victoria's back. I thought it was Hollyberry. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, so the pure color is Hollyberry. Whoever said the most pure color is Hollyberry, you are correct. Who was asking? Hang on. Which is the primary red? It is Hollyberry. She is right. Hollyberry, let's just clear this up for everybody. Hollyberry is pure quinacridine red. This is 100% pure quinacridine red. So this would be your primary red. You are correct. The red I was using was a fluorescent red. So I'm correcting myself. I don't want to stray you down the wrong path. Okay. And let me get my tablet back up. Oh, it looks like you guys are still watching me paint that green. How nice. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's just my replay. For some reason, my replay's behind. Great. Something happened to my tablet, so all of a sudden it stopped. So we've got those 3 colors. Now, this is that warm yellow, but we do have the gold. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of putting the gold in it, just so we can see this warm yellow, I'll put the warm yellow here next to this peachy pink color. And then we got the purple, right? This is kind of fun doing these little bitty swatch swipes and not some big sloppy messy thing. This is a really great way to test your colors if you have practice canvases. By the way, I mentioned last week, Wholesale Art and Frames is a company that I buy canvases through, and they had such a deal on practice canvases. This is only 7/8 inch. I ordered 11 by 14s, which is kind of the perfect size, and 16 by 20s. 20 11 by 14s and 20 16 by 20s was only $130 with freight landed. 40 canvases. Not a bad deal. So if you guys have classes that you're teaching, right? So let's get some selectivator on this thing. Hi guys, I am not seeing the feed. Yeah, no, the new set is coming. I'm announcing I'm going to put them up on a prayer today. Somebody's asking about the new set. Not yet. Can you guys hear me now? Is this better? Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay, so what happened was the little microphone, John and I plugged in about a week ago, I think it lost its juice. And when it loses its juice, there is no more sound. So when I plugged it out, now you guys can hear me. Okay? So apologies, I think the microphone lost its juice. So I'll be careful not to turn around as much, because that's the whole point of having the mic on. You guys can hear me really well when I'm turning around, right? So I like that green with the black on top of that. It's really pretty. Just get the excess paint off. And then I just gotta get this angle where I can get it down and swipe it like it should be. There we go. There we go. Now we have a good swipe. We have a, yeah, I'm lucky to have the mic. Yeah, look at that. Love that little swipey dipey. Oops, my camera's moving. Here we go for you guys. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with those colors. Do I just go ahead and do a circle swipe? Because Harley is now suddenly getting really curious about this. You guys aren't going to notice that suddenly he is right there, and I need to remove him. Harley, get off, buddy. Come on, buddy. Get off. Go on. Okay. Good boy. Woo! No, he's back up again. Harley, dude, get down now. Down now. Dude, no. It's getting worse, guys. He absolutely has to be part of this thing. Here, come to the back of my chair, will you? Do what he's supposed to do. Sit on the back of my chair like a good boy. Well, I can't tell you what, I'm really enjoying that color combination there. That little yellow is popping up, and it's popping up through my turquoise, right? So I'm going to try. I was going to do the whole board, but let's jump right to, I have a small one for a swirl swipe. I'm going to have to take this paper, because we can't have it fight when we try to twist this thing, right? Only thing is now comes to the point where I end up using too much paint because I'm trying to cover the whole thing. So I'm going to start with a smaller canvas, okay? And yeah, yours arrived yesterday. Why am I seeing? Okay, Harley wants to paint. Yeah, he's so curious. A little too curious for his own good. So here is our gorgeous neon turquoise that we made. I am so proud of this color. Like I said, I am making this. And I am going to make this. And I'm going to make this. And I really want to make this. So I'm pretty excited about what we mixed up today. See, you guys inspire me. Just as I'm saying, color is so therapeutic, and it really is. Color is super therapeutic for people. Okay, so in that first swipe, I did this. I really love what this antique gold did. Remember, this has that fluorescent red in it. And that's really crazy. If you notice, I'm not pouring a gang of it on here. I'm trying to be more careful with the paint. So we're not making a sloppy mess, because you certainly would, if you were doing this, you'd be careful with your paint, right? I like this color, so I'm going to dribble a little bit more in. I don't want to pour it. Like, there's too much turquoise on there. Here I want just the right amount of that purple. Not too much. That fluorescent purple, boy, that's a beautiful color. It was even prettier without the varnish. I'm sure you guys have to agree. I mean, it is stunning. Okay, let's get some of that crazy, what are we going to call this? Leaping lizard green? It looks like Hulk green, but someone had a really great name for this. Whoever it was, thank you. And then let's get some of this peachy color. May not blend directly into the green, but it's really hard to make mud when you're working with really clean color. It just is. Really hard to make mud. And here is that crazy Aztec yellow that we made. Whatever you want to call it. It's a very warm yellow, like a Tuscan yellow. But the fact that it's got the neon in it is amazing. Luminescent lime. Green lightning. Somebody said that would be a good color. Green lightning. Yes. Let me see if I can find this would be a better palette knife for what we're going to do. Let's get the black on here. Now, I'm working on a dry canvas. There is no lubrication. So it's a little risky. Most people do it. And how I've always done a dry canvas is more paint on the canvas. So here I'm talking myself into putting more paint on, I think. But let's try this, because this is the perfect size for this. Yep. Now look, some of that came off on my thingy. Look at all those colors. So what I could do is do one more little row, but here, because that turquoise is so dominating, and that really is a pretty color. Ooh, Joe Sonia's having a sale. My favorite varnish in the whole wide world. Really, truly. Since I kind of smeared it, we're going to add some more color starting here. We'll just start then the second swirl starting here. And since there's so much turquoise, I don't think I need any more turquoise. We'll do the purple and the pink and the green. But there's plenty of turquoise on this. My humble opinion. it's a little risky because I'm only going to be able to do a half a swirl and stop. I don't want to ruin this, right? So, and I don't even know if I can spin it, but I'm going to try to see if I can't fix this. I mean, this is the same thing you guys go through. Everybody goes through this, right? So it's not like it's nothing new. It may be new to you, but everybody goes through this. Where am I going to start and where do I end, right? I kind of don't like this messy color here. So I think I'm actually going to start my swipe right here, go down and over, if I can do it like that. We'll see. It's not going to be the perfect round, but let's see if I can fix this. I sure like the color of that turquoise. Now remember, there's no base color here, so if I spin, there's really not much place for it to go on the spinning. So I'm going to start here and do that. Wow, look at the back of that. That is beautiful. That is, I love the back of that. Yeah, this is a black cell activator, kiddos, that I'm putting over the top. Artist Loft, Amsterdam Floetrol. All right, I'm actually going to try to spin. I don't think there's, I can try to tap some of the leftover paint here because paint follows where paint is. Probably the smartest thing to do on this. Let's see if I have a place to add some paint on. Right, I'm going to take this off, this little thing off, because it won't really spin with this on there. And see if there's any place where I feel like I can load some paint up. There's a lot of green in there. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of this gold. I'm just going to drop some color in here so there's no areas that are blank. I don't know if it's going to work, but typically when you're spinning, paint follows paint, right? So this has this kind of goldy orange on the edge. I happen to have a little bit of this made up. So I'm going to cheat. Cover my edge here with that really pretty yellow-orange color we made. So when I spin, in theory, the paint has a place to go. So they say, whoever they is. A little bit of green right here because there's a spot missing here, no paint here. I'm just going down the edges, making sure there's paint on every edge. So if I spin, hopefully it'll spin off for me. This is where the purple is. So I'm going to lay a little bit of violet in here. Not my normal thing. I know you guys normally see me put a pile of paint on and spin and that's it. I'm being a little bit more careful this time around. But these colors are so beautiful. And this is my painting after all. All right, let's see if spinning actually helps. There's a lot of paint on here now. Whether it's centered is the other question, and I think it needs to be moved forward, just slightly forward, because it seemed earlier I spun it and it spun a whole lot smoother a little bit forward. So let's see how our spinning of our neons, that's pretty neon, kids. Ha! Look at that. It's actually spinning out. Look at that. It's a little bit pink in here, and I didn't even put that pink in there. I put the extra orange and I put the extra green. Where did this pink come from that's spinning off? This is fun. My little neon dry swipe spin. experiment is not exactly failing. Now, this is a little bit, you know, rough, and maybe you could, and I can hear you guys say, no. Take a very small palette knife, and I can't find my small palette knife, and you're probably going to say good. But I could take a small palette knife just so that orange doesn't look out of place, and just do this. Look at the purple it took off, right? And then same thing here in that little puddle. I love the lime and the purple together. I got a little tiny black on the tip of my knife here. Let me see, I'm doing it off camera, sorry guys. But you can see I got a little bit here, okay? And then I'm just gonna kind of do this, okay? So when I spin it, it doesn't look like two big orange blobs in the middle of my piece. I mean, that pink is there. I'm not gonna do anything about it. It's kind of decided it's gonna be part of the art. Oh, we're lopsided here. So I think if you go further this direction, my understanding, the paint will go that way. Move that turquoise a little bit more towards that orange in. You're gonna hear my little as it's making noise. This is fun. This is really fun. Can you see that is pretty. Wonder if I can get a good picture of this without the glare so I can use this for, oh my God. Cat, I'm gonna kill you. He just jumped up on that whiteboard. I think I'm gonna have to start giving him his own playroom during the lives. I don't know how much. He's getting way too curious about what we're doing. And all I need is for him to jump into some resin next week. Look at this. I am trying to make it so there's no glare. There we go. I'm going to run it just a second or two longer so I have a thumbnail shot right there. There's no glare in it. Leslie, this is pretty. Who said this? Luminescent. I think my feed is slow on my thing. I am blown away. And these are all combinations of the fluorescent mixed with regular colors. Look at that purple and gold. Is that insane? See, now here's the thing. Yes, we're using neons, but they're not straight neons. And like I said in the beginning, why do I like neons? Not because they glow in the dark, but because they make regular archival colors brighter. Yeah, I'm not going to get water on my table where the epoxy is. And there's, you know, when I start playing with the epoxy again, he's just getting more and more and more and more curious, Evelyn. It used to be that Jasmine just sat on the back of my chair and he kind of left us alone. And twice he tried to jump on the table right there. And then he just leapt up on this thing. He just jumped up on this thing. And I have it sitting on 2 cans drying next to me. Normally, they don't jump up on something if there's something blocking it. No. So, yeah, when I'm training them, I've had water guns, you know, to train them. When you first get them home and just say, no, don't go here, play on your cat tree. But this is pretty. I'm liking the colors. I'm liking the purple. I'm loving that neon. Looks like the mouth of something is opening up there, right? This is kind of nuts. And I don't mind that pink doing its thing. I'm okay. It doesn't have to have cells over the pink. So, yeah. Anyway, let's flip the camera around. And we're at 99 minutes. I knew we wouldn't have time to do the puddle pour. You see, I got black on my elbow. I got black on me anyway. All right, so it's going to be a couple hours, but I will take some photos. I think I have one photo already with 3 neons together. So you're going to see a photo with 3 neons. It's going to say pre-event, 16-piece set neons, pre-event. Order off of that. Now, 16 colors times $15.99. It's not going to be the cheapest set. Most of these sets are coming out with 10, 11, 12 colors. But what we'll do is the pre-event's going to be all 16. As soon as they're ready to ship, I'm splitting the 16 into 2 sets. That was a suggestion by Kathleen McGee, so that I could make it. What did you miss, Miss L? Well, you didn't miss the piece. It's still right here. We did a little neon thing. You need to watch the replay because I actually custom made some neon colors made with archival and neon colors, or mixed really bright colors with the combo. But yeah, I'll put it up sometime this afternoon. So before tomorrow's live, you guys can order it. And the pre-event's only going to be about a week and a half because we've got everything to make it. We're not going to have to wait 3 weeks like that last set. But I'll put it up so you guys can get your pre-orders up and get your free goodie to go with it. Everybody wants a free gift. And that's it. Now, getting the membership thing, I took Tuesday off to try to dig into this thing. That software is massive. We're trying to figure out how to upload you. We've been testing the SMS texting, so we'll be able to text you guys and say, hey, here's an update. We're doing this, so you hear it from us first. And yes, we'll give you a way to opt out because we certainly don't want to bug you with texts, but texts, not Texas, the state. Anyway, we're getting more and more to getting that all sorted. I'm really ready to pull those high-end cards off because that 40 and 50% is unsustainable. If anybody wants to dive in, I think someone bought another card early this morning because they saw they were still up there. You can. Anyway, thank you for joining me. See you tomorrow. Now, tomorrow's Saturday, so I'm on at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I plan on also being on Sunday. I think Sunday's broadcast will be 10, a little bit later, because some people have church. East Coast time, that's 1 p.m. for you guys, so that won't be too bad on Sunday. And I will see you tomorrow. Hugs and kisses, guys. Thank you. Bye.